with food, we have that as this tool, and that's a way for us to show our elderly that the community is here, that even amongst all of this devastating news, there's still hope.
So we got 2,000 pounds of salmon donated. So everyone's been making salmon meals for the past 3 weeks, and this is the last of it. So Heart of Dinner, we gift and donate hot meals, lunches, and groceries to homebound Asian elderly. After this week, I believe we're gonna hit 65,000 meals. So today's our first day cooking out of Essex Pearl. Usually we've been rotating kitchens because we don't have our own kitchen. So if anyone wants to donate kitchen space, that's amazing. This week I'm making 52 meals, and that's gonna be paired along with our care packages. So the reason we're slow cooking it is to really infuse the flavor into the salmon. It's almost like a light poach. So this is a short grain Japanese rice, and then also added a bit of farro inside just to give it extra texture and extra nutrients. And cooked extra soft, where it's almost borderlining a congee. You know, initially we were actually doing all brown rice, but that was one time when we did get feedback. They weren't used to eating brown rice, and white rice is just a lot more comforting for them. Yeah, so this morning we've cooked 50 salmons, and then we also have 2 vegetarian meals.
Heart of Dinner began as a supper club, and really the crux of it was to provide a space for people who feel alone and lonely.
The foods we're cooking every week, we like to ask our restaurant partners also to make a meal that reminds you of your grandparents or what your grandparents used to make you growing up. So right now we're gonna make the radish egg. It's a very comforting dish, basically an omelet. Eggs, radish, sesame oil, and a little tiny bit of soy sauce. And growing up, we would just have this over rice. My grandma also grew up making it for me. It's very much a quintessential dish in Taiwan. And we're basically done. Just a little smidgen of soy sauce. Yeah. As you get older, you know, sodium, it leads to a lot of high blood pressure, sometimes cholesterol. A lot of the seniors we're servicing, I don't know why, but in the Asian community, we're very much prone to high blood pressure, diabetes, and so just making sure to service them with very nutritional meals. So cooking in restaurants and then cooking for Heart of Dinner, it's very different but also very similar. This is still hospitality, just in a very, very different form. And I also realized that the through line of why I enjoy what I do is for the hospitality, you know, anticipating intuitive service. It's what really drives me. 5, 10, 15, 20, 20, 30, 30, 40, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 54. Doing this work, you also find rewards in very random small places. For example, boxes. We notice when a box fits the meals perfectly, it's like a hot commodity. So we hold on to those boxes forever. The small things. So every Wednesday, Operations Day for Heart of Dinner, what we do is we wake up around, I would say 8:30, and then at around 10:15, we swing by our first stop, Party Bus Bake Shop, to pick up the scallion buns and then the milk toast brioche. Good morning. Heart of Dinner has changed the way I see the food industry, where there is now so much more community involvement. It's amazing. I think the restaurant industry is just so tied together naturally, but throughout this time, it's people jumping into different kitchens to help out.
Ooh, these are our scallion bun collaboration with Party Bus Bake Shop and Heart of Dinner. So Jacqueline originally started making milk toast for us because we asked her to make something that was culturally appropriate. We actually asked if it was possible for her to add scallions because that's a popular bread growing up in bakeries. Yeah, so we're at Servos, and so they've been donating 2 cases of eggs each week, and it's been so awesome. I think they're blue again this week. They're so beautiful. Thank you so much.
And then right around the corner, we swing by Feng'an. So this is Feng'an. They're the oldest tofu maker, soy maker. They make tofu, soy milk, grass jelly in Chinatown. So we get our soy milks from them every week because our elders, a lot of them are lactose intolerant, but we still want them to be able to get the calcium and the protein and the nutrients. Bye, I'll see you next week. Bye. That is incredible. So this week, Asian veggies, on top of veggies, they had Joe, who's donated 6 bags of rice. So we get that. And here we have the Shanghai bok choy. In Chinatown, everything is so accessible. If you don't know something, there's bound to be someone, like a neighbor, who will understand what you're asking for. And so I think it just makes everything more efficient. So around 11:15, we're backpacking at Essex Market. So this is Nancy, one of our ongoing, she's incredible, artist volunteer. She comes by every so often to pick up 50 brown bags, and then she'll bring it home to illustrate.
Each of our care packages and our meals or dishes are paired with a handwritten note. The handwritten note actually started because from our relationship, and even prior to that, I grew up as a latchkey kid. I just remember always being so sad that my mom, especially, I didn't see her often. She would always make sure to leave love notes for me. That carried through to our relationship.
And it just translated through to Heart of Dinner, where she used to write all the notes.
We then heard yet again another news about our elderly, specifically in the Asian and Asian American community, being violently attacked, and seeing videos. And at the same time, we were all also experiencing racism firsthand, like people leaning in and saying really nasty slurs and telling us to go back to where we're from. I felt lost. I felt scared. I felt anxious and frustrated about what was happening in the world, that we're dealing with this worldwide pandemic, this disease that no one knows how to stop. And yet people are seeing us as the disease and attacking us when we're just trying to survive. And just thinking, okay, how would our elderly feel? And it made me tear up. They must feel so scared. So writing those notes, it was just so healing for us to know that we can get through to them in that way.
So this is just a small fraction of Heart of Dinner's operations. Most people don't realize that there's a whole hidden, like, behind the scenes team at social service organization locations where they're recreating these care packages as well. And those are upwards in the hundreds.
And what we mean by that is we have restaurant partners. We call them our restaurant family, Saigon Social, also of course Party Bus Bake Shop and Besso. So what you see here happens in multiple different locations around Manhattan. So these eggs, along with the milk toast, go to the home, Nanum House. And that is a home that allows, invites and welcomes those who don't have a place to live. So they're specifically helping Korean American immigrants who may have language barriers, again, who don't have homes. And so it's a house, so they prefer the donated items in large cases, in bulk, so that they can choose to make the food how they like to make it. Food insecurity, it covers a vast amount of problems that have been existing. It's interesting because in the Asian and Asian American communities, not many people realize how many of our community members are hurting. We're the second harshest hit when it comes to being low income. With many of our cultures, it's hard to ask for help, and you're ingrained to not ask for help too. Sorry, I just put Vaseline all over here.
Growing up, being closeted for a really, really long time, it was almost like you don't tell your parents to save them face. Was okay with it for a while until I met Yin, and then when Yin and I met, she came out first, and I was like, oh, okay, then I'm gonna come out. And so after that, I mean, it was a little rocky in the beginning because still trying to like feel comfortable. But after that, it was smooth sailing. We were on a phone interview. Even though we mentioned, you know, we're partners, I think she took it as, oh, business partners. And so we had to correct her and let her know that we're in a relationship. And so she started chuckling, but we didn't understand what that chuckle meant. Was it like, oh, oops, I misunderstood? Or, oh, I'm embarrassed for you? Yeah. Or was she embarrassed that she... Thinking, yeah. We were talking, we're like, oh, so what do we think? If these elders, you know, that are getting the meals, they find out that these meals are being provided by Heart of Dinner, which is ran by, you know, two women who are in a relationship together, how would that affect their response?
So it's 1 o'clock.
I think we got everything, and now we're just waiting for the delivery drivers to come by, and then we're gonna start moving all the bags down by
routes. Yeah, so they're split up throughout Chinatown, another route throughout Brooklyn, and our Queens route is super long, so we broke it in half.
We were on the phone with an elderly, and she read that piece in the newspaper, so she knows now.
They said something like a romantic partners, right? Like, it was that it was not like
partners
business
in life,
partners,
and not just business.
Yes,
partners.
Exactly. And I felt so seen and so respected that they printed it out with Chinese readers and audience. One of our elderly, she read it, and she thanked us so much and kept saying, had it not been for you both coming together, I don't know what would have happened.
Doing this work has, it's been very eye-opening, not just the work, but also for us in a long-term relationship. We're approaching 7 years, and we joke about it all the time where if this just started when we were first dating, I think it would have been very difficult. But because we've been together for so long, we understand each other's personality, strengths, the weaknesses, and how to complement each other. And so I think it's incredible that
It's been so smooth sailing.
Yeah.
When it comes to setting up and just executing on ideas, I'm so grateful to have Moonlin by my side to do this work. And I wouldn't have imagined anyone else to do this work with. I'm very lucky.
wow.
Wow.